well, it's my stream starting now. I was. Oh. Okay. Hold on. Mine hasn't started yet. I gotta. Alrighty. We're live. Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to the One Hit Power Up Livecast. I'm Saywolf, and I'm here with my team, buddies, friends, whatever. Steve from Mr. Xlight and Chris from Last Life. Welcome, guys.
Hi there. Hi. Hello, one and all.
And today we're going to be talking about some controversial topics.
We're going to be talking about some topics.
At least one.
Require words to be spoken about them at a certain rate by three individuals with differing voices and such.
And lewd opinions.
And that's why everyone's here.
Why are people texting me on Discord? Why are people on Discord doing messages?
I'm not.
Huh. I don't know. It doesn't matter. Carry on, Jens.
To the thing at hand, I will deal with it.
Moderator, go! Anyway, I will now hand over the reins to my my suave, sexy-voiced title master, who has all of our subjects at hand. So, Steve,
okay, so let's get the worst of the worst out of the way first. Let's get the heaviest of the heavy lifting done. Next.
Yeah, I figured we were going to talk about this. I know what's coming.
Yeah, that would be the
PlayStation 5. Oh my god.
Chris, you fucking idiot!
Out of here.
No.
Sorry,
No.
discuss the events, the awfully recent events at YouTube headquarters.
Yeah. I knew this was coming.
I don't know what you guys know about it, but the lady in question was unhappy at YouTube's practices and policies. She'd been complaining for some time about YouTube suppressing her channel's visibility. It wasn't just the fact that she got demonetized, let's put it like that, but when all is said and done, I don't think it's quite a heavy thing to do, you know, to just go ahead and do that, you know. It's a bit excessive, to say the least.
Well, I think we can all agree, like in unison, that most small YouTubers, myself included, you know, and I'm sure I speak for you guys too when I say that a lot of us are very disappointed with the way YouTube has been handling the general treatment of us as creators. You know, there's a lot of things, and obviously, you know, we don't do YouTube for the money, right? I mean, that's at least that's not. At least that's never why I did it. Like, I never monetized, even when I could, I never monetized any of my videos. You know, and eventually I guess I would if I knew I could make a profit out of it. Like I do want to get paid for the work that I do. Like, I put a lot of time and I invest a lot of time in my videos, but that's not the primary reason that I do it. But I do see and I understand and I know how that I'm affected when YouTube starts taking away our rights as creators. Like when they put our tools behind fame walls. That's basically what I'm calling them. They're basically popularity walls. Like, you have to have this much and this much and this much to unlock this and this and this in the YouTube program, which is unfair. And we all, as small creators, and I know I'm a part of a few Facebook groups that a lot of people during that time when these rules went into place were very upset with the changes. You know, they felt like they'd been, you know, like they'd been cheated out of something. And so I'm basically, what I'm saying is a lot of people were upset about this, okay? But
I was as well, yeah.
Yeah. And I don't think that any of the things that happened and the way YouTube has been treating us constitutes any sort of this violence. I don't think, I was very upset. Hey, but I don't think, I think it has more to do with the person must have been already mentally unstable.
You think
There's got to be something wrong there, dude, because a normal person doesn't react that way.
I'm gonna have to agree with you though. I think it was highly irrational, definitely.
Yeah, go ahead, Chris.
Sorry, I was just going to say I agree there as well, but something I feel that's also been a contributor, like, yes, definitely she was mentally unstable, but I think, and it's something I've noticed, a little trend. I'm gonna just sort of try to paint a picture here for you, where in our country, South Africa, we have this recurring issue where people will protest that university fees must fall. Whenever there's strikes or sort of stuff happening where people protest, it's now common practice here to destroy property. They will burn down buildings, they'll burn down this, they will destroy vehicles. And the reason they do that is because as time's gone on, it gets results. So, and it's, what I'm going to say is very, no, seriously, like people, that's what gets a response out of the government. And I'm honestly thinking that the whole mentality about going in there and shooting people in the YouTube headquarters is basically, well, if shooting in other instances in America gets results, maybe this will.
Holy shit.
But it doesn't.
Boy, don't hit the nail right on the head right there. This is what scares me, is the fact that, like, the Fifth Amendment says you're allowed to keep them and carry them, but that gives people an ultimate way of responding, you know, a way of responding too hard. And that's what's gone on, I think, and now it just opens the door for other people, like setting a precedent.
Yeah. I mean,
yeah,
for example, now, if let's say, for example, I'm upset that milk is too expensive, and I live in America. Well, I'm gonna go down to the. It's a real extreme example. I'm gonna go down to the supermarket with a gun now and start shooting people up.
Okay.
The reason why? I'm upset with milk price.
And that's true. And I'm sure. I mean, I'm sure that YouTube is going to implement rules to reflect. You know, obviously this is going to affect creators in some way or form. I don't know, I don't know what they're planning and what they're going to do, but obviously this act is it's going to influence some decisions, right, that are going to be made. But
right.
At the same time, I don't feel like this is what's beneficial to small creators. I mean, it basically hey Musa. Anyway, basically, it makes us look like, it sends a message, and it makes us look like we're unstable individuals. I mean, this act speaks for the whole community. It does, whether we like it or not, whether we want it to or not. This act makes all of us look bad. All you, yes.
Media don't like us as it is. They don't like.
Yeah, we already.
It's going to make them look right and us wrong.
I mean, me being a gamer and being a YouTuber, I mean, those are two very negative. I mean, people. I don't know why. I mean, I guess I understand the context of why, and I understand why people came up to those conclusions, but I don't feel like they're justified. But there's a very negative precedent set there anyway, and I agree with you. But I don't feel like this act is going to help us. I feel like it's going to hinder us. I don't feel like going there is going to make them, YouTube, go, oh, hey, we made a mistake. We're just going to give you back all your rights. I mean, that's not going to happen.
No,
and this
no,
is
she won't have had any kind of an effect. That's probably the worst thing about it.
Yeah, the effect that it has is that it's given us a bad taste in the mouth of the media and the public. Which is especially not good for people who are trying to become public figures. You know, we're trying to build a community. We're trying to build a community of people that return, that enjoy our content. And this kind of thing, I think, just makes it, it makes us look bad. Just in general, the YouTube community in general, and it affects. It doesn't just affect. I mean, it affects small creators the most, but it also affects it also affects, you know, YouTube as a whole, even their bigger partners, you know.
It will do. It'll be more advertisers that want to pull out.
And
Sorry, and just quickly, Steve, you might want to check your stream.
No, I know it's my desktop there. Don't worry, I know.
No.
Oh, what's wrong?
Slight reports of resource formats not supported error.
uh-oh.
Well, it's fine on my dashboard, dude. I'll double check them.
Steve, people watching you, they don't know what's going on, bro. I don't know, let me check it on my end, because I have good interwebs.
No,
Unlike some
just open the browser and it's come up fine.
unlike some people I know.
Cool.
I've just opened the browser and it's come up fine.
Take it as-
Press tab and it's come up fine now, dude.
I think it's a South Africa thing, dude. I think it's an
Honestly,
Africa thing.
I checked it myself, dude. When I had a look, I said to you, I had a look, and on all the forums where I saw that error code being people reporting it, people were saying that's a you problem, that's a browser problem, not a Twitch problem. So, sorry about that, bro. I know.
No,
I
it's
when I went on my phone as well.
it's no problem. We good. I think we good. But anyway, that's my opinion on the whole shooting thing. You know, the biggest thing, I don't know if you guys know, because you know, obviously I'm sure you keep up with the news a little bit better than Chris does, Steve.
Mm-hmm. What's the news?
Well, I'm just saying, like recently there have been a lot of violent acts.
Mate, I have a philosophy. No news is good news.
No. That's true. But what I'm saying is that there's a trend in the U.S. right now where there's actually been like 3 or 4 shootings in the last few months. So like there was one, the one that I remember most prominently recently was the Florida shooting at the school, you know. So, well, how am I supposed to do that, Chris?
Really?
Yes.
So what you do is you right-click our little faces in the corner, and you drag the user volume up. You tool.
You damn fool.
Okay, I'm working on it.
But yeah, dude, like, and what you're saying there, and that's why I'm saying the fact that the issue is that it's becoming a trendy action in a sense. That again, that sort of ties back to that point where now people are going to start doing this for more things, and so it's only just going to see an increase in gun violence instead of a decrease. And something I'm going to say, and you, Ray, you might not quite agree, but the thing is, to my knowledge, the gun laws we have in South Africa are very similar to that in America. But people here don't go around shooting up places, bro.
And obviously now, obviously now we're going out of the specific shooting that happened, and we're veering off into like
just the broad picture.
Yeah, why shooting? No, it makes sense. My opinion on this, and it's difficult to tackle because this veers very heavily into politics. You know, and normally when you talk about politics or you talk about, you know, this kind of stuff, it becomes very taboo. Especially for small YouTubers trying to get subscribers. But anyway, no. So this is my opinion. Okay, I feel like there is a what's the word that I'm looking for? A stigma on mental illness, and that a lot of people still don't recognize that it's a thing. Like, a lot of people still deny that mental illness is a thing. Because, I mean, if somebody comes up to you and they have, you know, they have borderline personality disorder, or they have, you know, they're psychotic, you know, they have psychosis, or they have, you know, these people can appear normal, especially if you have especially if you have a disorder where you can be self-aware, like psychopathy or sociopathy. You know, you can become self-aware and you can create a persona, a fake persona, to blend into the populace. Whereas, whereas, you know, somebody who has a big gash in their leg, you know, or has stomach pains, or has, you know, physical illness, you can see that. You can easily,
signs for those illnesses.
yeah, you can easily identify it. And I think that the problem with our society in general, worldwide, is that there is not enough education on psychology. People need to understand what the telltale signs of psychology, of these psychological disorders are. People need to understand, you know, when somebody's acting this way, or they have manipulative tendencies, or they have, you know, whatever problem that you're seeing, that, hey, this is a symptom of this disorder. There is a possibility that this person could be unstable.
I'm going to put you on pause right there, right? Because that actually does tie back into the topic, because, again, a lot of people are saying, and a lot of people do say that before these shootings happen, like, yes, it said that she was very angry, but it didn't seem like she was going to go that far. No. Maybe if we were better educated as a people, you would be able to pick up on the subtleties and see, hang on, maybe she is actually going to do something extreme.
Yeah, and you know, and it's hard, you know, because you can't say go back and say, well, if somebody had done this and this and this, then it wouldn't have happened. Because you can't go back and with all certainty say that, you know, this wouldn't have happened if we would have known this and this. But I think that society would benefit from understanding more about psychological disorders and sociological disorders. People who can't socialize correctly often have similar problems, you know, where they can't integrate into society, and they end up having anxiety and problems where they feel like they don't fit in. They have similar, you know, issues, and I feel like a lot of these issues could be solved if people had a better understanding. They knew how to react. They knew how to, and a big part of it, and I'm a big advocate for this. Okay, and this may sway some heads, but I am completely against political correctness. I do not advocate for political correctness, and I feel like part of the problem that we have in our society today, especially in the fucking United States, okay, is that we have people who are way too fucking sensitive. Like,
it's more than that. The people that are far too sensitive as well. I'm all about free debate. I'm all about free opinions. I'm all about whatever your opinion is. I don't care if it's directly opposed to mine. You're still entitled to it. The people at the moment are trying to say everybody else's opinion is wrong, and you must go away if it's not the same.
Yeah, but
if you don't adhere to this particular opinion, then you don't get. There is no discourse for you.
But see, there's a difference between having a difference of opinion, because I agree with you. That's fine. Like, you know, say I say something and you're like, no, that's not right, you know, and that's fine. I am willing to have an open-minded discussion with somebody, a debate with somebody about a subject, and that's fun. I mean, me and you have had debates over political subjects, and you know,
we'll have a hell of a lot more.
Yeah. And that's actually fun, and it's also educational, and that actually helps two people grow their ideas, you know, if done the right way. But what I'm talking about specifically is political correctness. Like, you know, people who overreact to situations that don't deserve that much attention.
Yeah.
You know, Like a good example is like a big one up here is breastfeeding in public. People are just they go fucking wild, bro.
It's crazy, isn't it?
So somebody tries, some woman, you know, pulls out her tit and just goes to feed her kid, and everybody's like, "Oh my God, that's awful! Help! Help!"
That's what I'll do is in your chat and in my chat, I'm going to drop a link to the actual article, okay? And I'm going to read to you a bit that her brother said. Oh, I'm not allowed to. Sorry, I'm not allowed to post a link in your chat, right?
Why?
Post in Discord, then he can post it in his chat.
Yeah, that's fine. Hit me, bruh!
Yeah. Now, so what I'll do is, so there's a bit further down, and it says that her brother said he warned police his sister might do something. His concern started over the weekend when she stopped answering her phone in Southern California. Then early Tuesday morning, Mountain View police said they found her in a car. The discovery worried her brother. He said, "I googled Mountain View and it was close to YouTube headquarters and she had a problem with YouTube." He said he warned police that she went all the way from San Diego so she might do something. But Mountain View police said they didn't notice anything alarming after encountering her, whose car was parked in the lot. At no point during our roughly 20-minute interaction with her did she mention anything about YouTube, if she was upset with them or that she had planned to harm herself or others. Throughout her entire interaction with her, she was calm and cooperative. Police discovered she had been reported missing from the San Diego area and called her family. At no point did her father or brother mention anything about potential acts of violence or a possibility of her lashing out as a result of her issues with it. So what did her brother just say up there?
And that's the...
He said he googled Mountain View, saw that it was close to YouTube headquarters, knew she had a problem with YouTube, and then he said he warned police that she went all the way from San Diego so she might do something. He said there, that's in text there, that he warned police that she might do something.
Which means that he thought, you know, she was capable of doing something.
It says here, yeah, not capable, but it says there, he said he warned police that, in inverted commas, she went all the way from San Diego so she might do something. So he thought she was capable, and he thought she was going to do something.
Yeah.
And then down there, at no point during our roughly 20-minute interaction with her did she mention anything about YouTube, if she was upset with them or that she had planned to harm herself or others. Throughout her entire action, she was calm and cooperative, right? And then it says, at no point did her father or brother mention anything about potential acts of violence or a possibility of her lashing out. Well, it says he did above.
Yeah, that's a contradiction right there.
It actually says that he did above.
The issue herein lies with this particular article, that there's huge red flags, right? The fact that the fact that she's upset with YouTube, the fact that her car is parked in the lot at YouTube headquarters, you know, the fact that she doesn't live in the town where, I mean, there's huge red flags. But up until the point of the shooting, you know, that took place, she didn't exclusively break the law.
No.
So in reality, the way that our justice system is set up in this country, I don't think that there's anything that they could have. I mean, there's things that they could have done, I'm sure, but I guess they didn't feel like they wanted to invest the resources. I mean, they can't detain her based on a suspicion her brother had, but they could have left officers in the area?
I don't know.
The very least they could have done is, you know, like, phone someone up at YouTube and said, hey, there's been talk of, you know, someone potentially coming to maybe disrupt things. Just keep an eye out for that.
Yeah.
Just sort of, you know, be a bit more wary about who you let in our facility.
She actually didn't get in, from what I heard. She actually went into the parking garage, and
right.
It was locked, and she couldn't get into the actual building. So she was actually stuck outside, from what I heard. I don't think she actually got into the building. I mean, I've been hearing a lot of different things, so, you know, what's true and what's not. it's difficult to discern all the rumors, but
the investigation's ongoing. It appears like she took her own life.
yeah, that's
the investigation is ongoing,
and that's the only casualty as far as I know, which is, you know, I don't want to say it's a good thing, and I don't think anybody. You know,
given the whole situation, that is the best possible outcome. That
it is a good outcome, but I don't.
It's sad that there had to be any sort of situation to provoke that outcome in the first place.
Yeah, and I think that's a good note to end this conversation on, because this is
the conversation does carry on a little bit with the gun theme.
Oh, it does.
I would just like, on the tail end of that, for one-hit power-ups purposes, I would like to remind anybody watching that at no point during that conversation did any single one of us mention the lady in question's, or in fact anybody's, religion. Thank you very much.
No,
topic,
and we're
that's it. That's that. Leave it. Sorry, I've got to put my foot down there. Leave it. I want to leave it on that note.
In all honesty, I actually thought you were going to say it's been half an hour to the stream and we haven't mentioned loot boxes yet.
No, we're not going to.
Damn it, Chris! It's only 25 minutes!
We're not going to mention my incredible fortuity on loot boxes today, so
yeah.
Let's not talk about it. Okay, right. So the next topic, what, £65 skin? Let's not talk about that. Anyway, the next topic, Far Cry 5. And I knew this was going to come. I have a little piece that I would like to read to you. And I know I do a bit of reading, but this was quite...
You may only read it if you do it in a sophisticated British man voice.
When does he not have a sophisticated British man voice?
Fuck you guys. So, basically, Far Cry's announcement in May 2017 came at a time of heightened political and ideological conflict around the world.
I think that was just coincidence.
Let me carry on and you might not.
Because I've also got a really cool point. Go on, go.
Around the world, yeah, due to recent political events such as the election of Donald Trump as President of the United States and the onset of the United Kingdom's withdrawal from the EU. Many journalists opined that Far Cry 5's setting and narrative concept involving themes of religious fanaticism and the emergence of far-right political movements within the borders of the United States would likely make the game highly controversial in its current climate. Following its announcement, Far Cry 5 was the subject of an online petition lodged at change.org by individuals objecting to what they called the portrayal of American Christians as villains, get this, and calling for the game's antagonist to be recast. The petition suggested followers of Islam, inner-city gang members, and other non-white antagonists as possible replacements. The petition also suggested changing the game's setting to Canada. The petition itself was criticised by industry commentators who highlighted the game's exploration of its themes as being necessary in the contemporary social and political climate, and pointed to video gaming as a medium for social commentary. Some publications questioned the authenticity of the petition, suggesting that it may have been intended as satire. There's a lot to take in there.
Can I just say something? Because I've been playing Far Cry, okay?
Me too, yeah.
And I mean, I just love this article, bro, because and when it finally released, and I started when it finally released, and I started playing it, I realized that it actually doesn't make much of a social commentary at all.
No,
and that's what makes it funny.
It's ridiculous, the irony of that statement.
Like you get to
could be anything serious at all.
And then you get to playing it and you're just like, wait a minute. You're just basically running around shooting a bunch of bearded guys in Montana. That's the
No, wait, say that again. Say that. Wait a minute again.
Wait a minute.
That's exactly it. That's your only mood when you're playing Far Cry.
Wait a minute.
Wait a minute. It's so crazy.
I thought it was gonna be loaded in controversy, dude. I mean, that was the consensus that I had gotten from all the media and all the promotion and all the propaganda around it, you know, and everybody who was like talking about how, well, you know, they don't want it to release and they were gonna boycott it and shit. And then I got to play it, and it's like, it makes.
Right, it's like this for me, yeah. Far Cry's in the past, like Far Cry 2 was about some crazy rebel African group that had seized control of an area under some crazy warlord, and you had to go and get rid of him.
Yeah,
and that was, but you didn't see African people getting really upset because that actually happens in Africa, and they feel that was a bit close to the bone. Like, you can't really.
We don't have computers to play the game.
But like, what's going on here?
They just didn't have the technology to play the game at the time.
No one in Africa knows it exists, bro. That's why.
The problem with Far Cry 5 is it's too close to the bone. That's the problem. It's because there's two things in it that they don't like: the fact that it's set in America and in modern day America, and the fact that they are white Christian fanatics.
Yeah, but see, that's the word that we need to focus on, right? It's fanaticism.
Yeah.
You know, it's not representing
Islam.
Yeah, but it's not representing the religion. You know, that's not what they're going for. If you play the game, it's not representing the religion. What they're representing is a radicalism.
But
you know,
the $1 million question for me is obviously tone it down a little bit, but do you not see Far Cry 5 as a possible future for America?
No. This was my point, because now also again tying into the older Far Cries, Far Cry 3, it was this fantasy African country that was representative of modern day wars in Africa. I should know. I'm neighboring to some of that shit.
Yeah.
Far Cry 4 was a terrorized fictional India country.
Yes, it was. Yeah.
Which again is something entirely possible and believable to the current climate in some of those European countries. Far Cry 5, hinting also with the whole tying and maybe some of that's very likely tying in the political side of things, could potentially be an outcome. It's not saying that is going to happen. That's not saying that it is happening. It's exploring the idea that it is a potential occurrence.
One possible leg in the trousers of time.
What is time an octopus?
No.
It's a lot of legs.
There are parallel universes.
Oh yeah. No, let's not even get into that, bro, because we'll be here for 5 hours talking about that shit.
Each time you make a decision,
yeah, I know.
Direction or the other. So you're the trousers. But one particular author whose books that I read calls them the trousers of time. You go down one leg or the other.
But basically, I feel like, and considering I didn't play 4, right? I didn't play 4. I played 3, and
you're not missing much.
3 was a good game. I can say that I like the game, but I also feel like it's one of the more ridiculous Far Cry's that I've played. As far as like the characters, they're almost like cartoonish in a way. Does that make sense? They're it's very overemphasized. Everything is very overemphasized.
That has been said before, that the characters are a little less believable in this.
It's not that they're not believable. Like I like the cast, but it's like watching an old '80s cartoon villain. Does that make sense?
I see.
Like they have this I don't want to say cheesy, because it's not cheesy. It's like their features about the characters have been
Exaggerated?
Yeah, over exaggerated. So they have these over exaggerated
I can tell
features.
you why that's kind of happened, because they hit something gold in Far Cry 3 with Voss, and them trying to replicate that in the games that have come after that have just basically devolved into what you're talking about now.
I get you.
I can see that, yeah. So basically, I don't feel like it's controversial as much as people thought it was. Just like a final point of mine, okay? I don't feel like the game is as controversial as they thought it was going to be. I don't feel like it's necessarily like super, you know, because what I expected when I went into it, I expected a lot of social commentary, a lot of the really the shit that's been going on in America lately, and that's not really what we got. I mean, we got a little bit of it. Okay, there's a little bit in there, but it's definitely not to the level that the promotion suggested. You know what I mean?
I think I agree with you there.
Okay.
Yeah.
Just a quick subtopic. Just to throw.
You hit me. Yeah.
Because I want to throw this into.
Just a quick Subway sandwich. I'm hungry.
No, I wanted to tie into our last live stream, dude. Have you guys seen the trailer for the new Spyro? They released an actual trailer like 3 or 4 days ago.
I did, yes.
Oh my god, dude! I squeed like a little girl.
Sweet.
Yeah,
Oh.
I was like.
Do you reckon it'll be on Steam?
Sounded like a fucking pig getting neutered.
Do you reckon it'll be on Steam?
I don't know, bro. It might
Maybe
be
because, or you know, what, maybe not during launch. But give it a year, because we are now getting the Crash trilogy on Steam soon.
Yeah. That's true. That's true, and it's by the same company, so.
It will function.
I might into that.
Alrighty, I just wanted to mention that because I know I have fellow '90s gamers out there somewhere.
See, there's a smooth segue there, because Spyro appeared on consoles, didn't it?
Yeah.
Spyro was a console.
I love your segue, Steve.
We're gonna slip and slide greasily into the fact that is PS5 gonna be released this year? Okay, there's some evidence. There's some strong evidence for this. Okay. I know, Chris. You'll definitely be on board when I mention CD Projekt Red. They're stating that their new game, which when they talk about their new game, they're talking about their Cyberpunk game.
Yes.
That will not be out on last gen. And other sources have quoted CD Projekt Red as saying Cyberpunk will be out this year.
Now, let's address something sad very quickly. The fact that they're addressing current gen as last gen already.
Wow. Well, see, this is the thing. So, hence the title of the on the thumbnail, PlayStation. Should we be paying for another console yet?
I feel like the releases are too close together. They just released PS4 Pro and Xbox.
So here's the issue with modern day consoles, namely your PlayStation and your Xbox. Is I don't know if they're still doing it, but Xbox for quite a while now, I'd say at least a year, has been trying to sort of implement upgradable consoles, which they're eventually going to do. So basically, computers.
Yeah.
And PlayStation is not taking that approach, but in order to keep up with this rate at which technology moves, they're basically going to be releasing a new console every 2 years, which is far too frequent.
And that's gonna kill their business.
$600 to $800 to
Every
throw
two. Yeah.
No,
every
okay,
2 years on a console.
Look, let me ask you guys a dead serious question, right? And I mean a dead serious question.
I'm so
right?
serious, it's not even funny.
It is a little bit funny.
Right. If a console manufacturer, I don't care whether it's Microsoft or Sony or Nintendo or if it's
Atari. I'm down for it.
Right. If a console manufacturer announced that they were releasing, how can I put this? A console that was configurable upon purchase with GPUs and CPU of your choice and RAM of your choice, in a decent case, right? And it ran off of, I don't know, whichever one. It connected to PlayStation Network if that's what you wanted, or it connected to Microsoft Store if you wanted. What I'm saying to you is like a Steam box that didn't run on Steam. You could choose whether it was a PlayStation connected console or an Xbox connected console, yeah? And then you could decide on purchase whether you wanted a 1080 in it or a 1070 or a 1060, yeah?
Yeah.
And you
Fair
could
enough.
choose between certain stages of RAM. And then, like you say, you pick your OS as well. I want Microsoft OS or I want PlayStation OS, right? And it came with full keyboard and mouse support.
Yes. What is the question?
Would you buy one?
Bro, what level
because
of...
I already
If it
own
was
a
at reasonable
computer.
price.
Yeah!
But what I'm saying to you is would you not like like your console experience, but with good hardware?
Well,
Hardware that
yeah.
You know is good. Think about it. Think about it, Chris. Think about a PlayStation 4, but running, instead of having a fucking AMD APU in the background and 7.75 gigabytes of RAM.
My issue is the second you can start picking your components, it is no longer the console experience.
No.
It's
Why
a
do you
computer.
no? Why do you think I included the bit about picking from an Xbox OS or a PlayStation OS?
It doesn't
Do
matter
you
because you're
think-
still picking the parts that go inside it.
Right, but that still makes it a console because it's still running on a console.
Well,
OS. It's just not
it may
hardware.
it may still make it a console, but what Chris is talking about is the console experience. Like for instance, me, Steve, the reason I still play console is because of the nostalgia factor. There's nothing for me. There are times when I want to sit on a couch with a controller, looking up at my TV, playing on a console. I mean that is the experience for me. It's not about necessarily like my PC is badass. Okay, I love my PC. I love playing PC games, but there's a different, like, I don't know how to explain it to you, man. It's just very
Hold on. I think you've missed my point. Right. What I'm suggesting to you is a console. Right? It's a console in a box. It's a console in a little console box. You plug your joypads in. It connects to your TV. It's a console. Don't tell me that the user interface isn't half of the console experience, because no, Windows isn't a great thing to navigate. Let's all be honest, right? Windows isn't the easiest thing to navigate, and one of the reasons why people buy a console is because they don't like Windows. And in fact, a console UI, whether that's a Sony UI or the Microsoft UI, it makes no difference. The fact is that's what makes it easier to navigate
Steve,
around, and that's half the experience.
I understand exactly what you're saying, but
Well, all I'm saying is when you
my-
go to buy it, you can buy it
Yeah,
with
yeah,
a
yeah.
decent graphics card in it and a decent amount of RAM. That's all I'm saying.
Fair enough. But now, so this is where it starts to sort of fall apart for me. Is, let's say I don't have the big budget, so I just get your standard run of the mill, your budget sort of version of the console.
Yeah.
And I take my game, I go home, I throw this game in, and even though it's the latest console, it's the PlayStation 5, whatever, I kick up my game and this big thing pops up saying, oh, because you don't have X amount of strong hardware,
Okay.
we're defaulting you to low
can I
That's where my problem comes.
can I throw something in there? Okay.
Throw it.
All
Try
right.
and catch it.
No. All right. The whole appeal of buying a console, the entire appeal of buying a console, for me, is plug and play. Basically, you buy a console, you come home, you plug it in, and it works. PC gaming is great. It is fucking amazing once you get it working. Okay?
Yeah.
Once you get it to work, because most people who are console gamers like to play on the console because of the plug and play feature. You can plug it in, you plug it into your TV, you put the game in, it works.
Fair enough. But Steve is saying you'll still have that. The only thing that's changing in this equation is the hardware.
Once you start picking pieces and putting different pieces into it, you run into the same issue that you have with a PC, because you have to have different drivers for different graphics cards. You have to have different things, and there isn't a OS operating system in the world that can automatically set up something the way you want it set up. I mean, every time I've changed my PC, every time I've changed a component, it doesn't matter which component it is, I always have to go and fuck around with the settings for a couple of hours. And console gamers don't want to have to do that. That is the whole...
You know that this, what you're talking about though, is this hardware difference between players in games. It does happen, you know, because that's what's happening. Like if I went out and bought an Xbox Scorpio, and when I can play the same games online as somebody with a regular Xbox One, yeah, I've got way more horsepower than they have. And if I put my game to 1080p, I get a bigger performance boost, and I'll run it at 60 FPS compared to their 30.
Yeah.
You're telling me that in an online shooting game, getting 60 FPS isn't better than getting 30? Because
but
that's happening on their hardware right now.
If you have a cross console PC shooter like PUBG right now, and you got people playing PUBG on the Xbox, and you had people playing PUBG on the Xbox against people on PC, the people on PC are going to be better because they're playing with a fucking mouse.
Yeah.
So I mean, the unfair advantages are just there. What I'm saying is that the appeal of a console generally is that you can bring it home, you can plug it in, and it works, and you don't have to fuck around with settings. You don't have to fuck around with anything at all. It just works. And that most people who don't know how to build PCs or don't want to mess with it, that's why consoles appeal.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree with you about the whole drivers thing and that kind of stuff. But I do wonder if maybe there's not a niche in the market that somebody couldn't do there.
No, and I agree. I will say this. I agree with you. I think that's where the industry is going. Because, and this is why, because I don't think that it is marketable, a good marketable experience for Xbox or PlayStation to release a console every 2 years. I don't think that that's profitable for them, because people are eventually going to go, well, what does this new console have? You know, you in a 2 year span, how many games can be released per console in a 2 year span? I mean, think about the PlayStation 2, how successful it was in its 10-year run.
Yeah, and
you know,
Xbox 360.
The Xbox 360 was the one that took over after the PlayStation 2 kind of started to die out. But the reason I mention the PlayStation 2 is because it has the biggest game library in the history of consoles. And that was over its 10-year. You know what I think the problem is? And this just occurred to me just now, that we're talking about this. I think that the problem is that technology has actually started advancing. Yeah, it's advancing too fast. So basically, what's happening is even in situations where where we could have a new game, basically it's more and more demanding of our hardware.
Definitely, and also just to sort of tie into the whole point that Steve was making. Yeah, fair enough, there will be a niche for it. It's just personally, for myself, I'd be very pissed if I went and bought out a custom hardware sort of spec'd console, played games on it for a while, and then 6 months down the line I go pick up a new game, put it into my console, and it says, you don't meet the minimum requirements.
And here's another issue with that too, that they're going to run into if companies try to implement this, is the advantage of a PC is that you can change every component. Now what you're talking about specifically is changing what, just the graphics card? Or are we talking about
just the base things? Yeah, just if you want to put a better graphics card in it, you can order one and it comes with a better graphics card in it.
Well, eventually what will happen, because of the rate of technology growth, is that the CPU of that console will no longer support the newer graphics cards. So you'll have to upgrade a console anyway. And I think that's going to be a problem for console industry if they decide to do this.
And this,
I feel like the parts
This
sorry.
is a whole nother issue, because then it becomes a case of we're then trusting the manufacturers and big corporate bastards in suits not to squeeze the living hell out of us for money with the sort of upgrading capability.
Okay, so the thing is, so if we were talking about drivers and stuff like that, which is like I get that maintaining your drivers on PC is incredibly important, and it can be a bit of a chore, but
Yes.
you have to do it. Well, so we know. Do you know PS5 and Xbox One run off AMD APUs, which are CPUs with graphics card processors on them, yeah? With
Yeah.
GPUs on them, right? So, do you think they don't need updates?
Yeah, but
You think
most
they come out the
definitely.
box and don't need an update? So what I'm saying to
Yeah,
you
you're
is,
right.
if they can shift an update over the air to anything, to do anything they want to.
But you,
So why would it? What would it take for them to all you do is switch your console on and get a message saying you have an important update. You accept it, don't you?
yeah, and you're right. But the whole glamour of being able to upgrade something is that you can fine tune it, and the whole glamour of having a console is the plug and play feature. But you plug it in and you don't have to mess with it.
You have it. That's
Yeah,
the
once
other
you have it and you don't have to mess with the settings. You don't have to mess with anything. And so the difference between PC gaming and console gaming is exclusively I plug it in, even if it comes back from the store. You know, it has an update, whatever, and then you can play it right off the bat. When I'm building my PC, I mean, I have to customize every feature of that PC. Basically, I had to fucking reinstall Windows because I changed my motherboard. Because Windows would no longer accept my they thought that I had a different computer. So I mean,
quick little story time. Once upon a time, Ray's graphics card died. Then he got a new one. Then he hopped on the Division with Steve, but for some reason it was running like shit. Just for Ray to find out after playing the Division for a while that he didn't have his display cord plugged into his graphics card. He plugged into his onboard graphics.
I had it plugged into my motherboard, dude, for 2 months. I was getting like, I had the Division on lowest settings, and I was getting like 19 frames per second.
I remember playing with you and listening to you getting upset. I remember doing
What the fuck is wrong with this game? It's so badly customized.
The best part is the graphics card he had was at the time the top dog,
It
the
was,
980.
Yeah.
Like flagship best graphics card.
Yeah, man.
He's there pondering, why am I getting 19 FPS in games?
With low settings. No, but I see your point, Steve. You know, I understand, and I feel like that's where the industry is trying to go.
Yeah.
And you know, and I get it. And basically, what it boils down to is, you know, people who buy consoles because they don't want to go through the setup process that comes with PC gaming. And one thing I wanted to point out is that eventually the parts that, if you do release a console that is partially upgradable, eventually the parts that you can upgrade are going to far outdate the parts that you can't. So I'm wondering if that's ever going to, I mean, that's going to be a huge problem, I think. Because obviously, dude, and console manufacturers are really stingy anyway. Like the second you take their piece of equipment apart, they get all wonky on you. They try to unhook you from the.
Now you can actually bet your life that all those upgradable components are going to have to be custom made for the consoles, and you're going to pay through your ass for them.
Yeah, they're going to be specific graphics cards only made for PlayStation 4, or specific graphics cards only made for the Xbox that only fit the Xbox.
But in response to that, that's what their APUs are. You don't get them in anything else.
Yeah, and
Like,
that's
you can't go out and buy a PS4 APU off the shelf.
you can, but it's not off the shelf.
Right.
Steve, I love you, man. I'm just not buying this idea.
I just think there's more to. I'm down with the whole plug and play thing. I think the best thing for all of us probably is kind of an option for a hybrid of the two. For those of us that want more horsepower, but want the accessibility of a console.
Yes.
I think
I don't know, Steve. I feel like the two.
Well, why do the Steam boxes exist then, bro?
I don't know.
Because there's people like us that want the power. That want the power of a
But see,
console.
when's the last time you heard any news on the Steam box though?
Bro, I saw a PC Gamer article the other day, kind of fizzling out.
no, right. It says I saw one the other day that said that Steam are still fully supporting the Steam box, even though they know it has fizzled a little bit. But they
Yes,
went commit
Steve,
to a fail.
Of course,
but they're still
Steve, of
supporting
course they are. Just like they're still making Half-Life 3.
Fucking Gabe!
Wow.
Steve just had like an epiphany moment, like, you salty bastard.
Jesus, man. Like 7 years with no period just falling all out on me there.
Ew!
Okay.
Ew!
Okay,
Alright.
I'll hold you, bro. I'll hold you.
Shit. You need to send me a get well soon card.
Will do.
And some aloe vera cream.
For that rash.
Yeah, like,
For the burn.
but yeah, you know what? Actually, the more I think on it, it is going to have a niche. It's good. It's definitely going to be also a good sort of like a transfer phase for people who are console gamers who maybe want to get into PC games.
That's it.
That could be a nice middle ground for them.
There's no middle ground at the moment between console and PC. You're either one or the other.
And let's be
Nuh-uh,
honest.
I'm both.
Let's. You just shush.
I'm the niche! Guys! I found the niche!
In Afrikaans, you'd call him a soap bale.
A soaked
Yes.
bale.
No, a soap bale. Salt dick. Because that's because you've got your foot in one part and a foot in the other part, and your dick dangles in the ocean in the middle.
Oh. Well, I
But
think
anyway.
everybody has one of those.
Someone who's not either side.
Unless you drink a lot of pineapple juice.
Oh, God damn it. But yeah, here's the thing, because now let's say you're jumping from console to PC gaming. The PC gaming community is pretty shit. Let's be honest.
They're pretty.
We're a
toxic.
pretty
I don't-
shit bunch of people.
I don't subscribe to the whole PC master race thing. I think that's disgusting. That's not cool, really.
There's
If you're
a
gamer,
lot
you
of
should
there's.
appreciate everyone.
I think the gaming community in general has kind of gone downhill. There's a lot of good people, okay, but there's a lot of people who take this whole thing way too far,
Yeah.
and
man,
especially
Sometimes. Sorry, what?
especially in like communities in game. Like for some reason, multiplayer games develop these communities of people that are just so fucking toxic, bro.
Yeah.
And like I don't understand why. Like why you guys can't
Overwatch,
just
There's some really salty people.
like
We're
really
bad, we're
salty.
often on the receiving end.
Dude, I could season my whole dinner with one fucking Overwatch session.
You just gotta throw the food on your monitor.
Oh God. Well, you said the word. You said the word. So at that, I'm going to segue straight. I'm going to segue clean and clear into Overwatch Pro has been punished for a racist gesture.
What kind of racist gesture?
So Josh.
It's a play on the word watch in Overwatch.
Wait, what? I'm still confused.
Go, Steve. Do your thing.
Josh Corona recently made a slant-eyed gesture whilst talking about Korean players during the live stream. He used his fingers to stretch the edges of his eyes to look Asian, and he had his face come up. His punishment was some body of people called The Fusion announced that he will be suspended for 3 games for the infraction and fined $2,000. He's also had his streaming privileges revoked until the 17th of July. He's issued an apology of his own and pledged to make a personal donation of $3,000 to the Anti-Defamation League's No Place for Hate campaign. What the point here is...
Sorry, but there was funny.
I was trying to
Lost
keep.
it,
I was trying to hold it in, bro. This is the stupidest fucking thing. This is why I'm against political correctness, dude. You know, and
It's
I'm
quite funny.
I'm a white guy. Okay, I'm a white guy, and people normally look at white people and they're like, "Well, you don't understand racist because you're white." Okay, and I get that. You know, that's fine. All right, but I mean, who hasn't made a taboo joke in their life? And come on, who hasn't made? I mean, people.
I can't say I haven't. No, the thing on one of the reports here was that someone was saying that like. It isn't it impossible pretty much to do an entire 5-hour live stream and not make one slightly racial gesture?
Yeah,
so
it is what it is, man. Quick history time. Say Wolf history time. Okay, I lived. Thanks for the sound effect, Chris. I lived in Honduras for years. 9 years, to be exact. I basically grew up down there, okay? I was the only white guy in a very small village of 200 people up in the fucking Booney Mountains of all of these Hispanic people, okay? I fucking know what racism is. I'm just gonna...
Exactly what it is to do.
I'm just gonna...
South Africa, I was a white English kid moving to South Africa, where the black African people hate white English people, and the white Afrikaans people hate white English people.
Is that why you stopped wearing...
Exactly what. But further to that, dude, when I came back to the UK, my skin was really dark tanned and I had blonde hair and spoke with an Afrikaans accent. So when I my own countrymen were racist to me again.
Hey, so
I know
did...
exactly what you're talking about, bro.
When
I'm
you...
a white guy. I'm white, and when I hear those SJWs saying you can't be racist to white people, it makes me want to spit.
But it's because it's not true. You know, it's not true. I watched this thing, okay, and I'm sure I've told you guys about this, but for the sake of the live stream, let's just go back into this. Because we are getting into some highly political fucking shit. This is why the title of this live stream is called the Bad News Livecast.
Could be a bit charged.
Yeah, we're getting into some highly political shit here. You know, I watched. I don't know if you guys are familiar with The View. In the mornings, it has Whoopi Goldberg and Rosie O'Donnell and.
I know The View.
No,
in Africa we get reruns.
Now you mentioned those two names, I'm even less interested in trying to.
Yeah. Okay. I caught.
Go on.
We were actually staying somewhere. You know, like a hotel. At one point, I think, and the morning programs were on the TV, right? And I caught a bit of Whoopi Goldberg and Rosie O'Donnell arguing back and forth on The View, and basically Rosie O'Donnell was saying, you know, she had adopted this black baby from a poor country. You know, she basically had adopted this child who was in less than good what's the word that I'm thinking for? About. Fuck. I've lost my entire train of thought here. No, she was basically saying she adopted this black baby from a poor country, and she understood what racism was because she had this child, and she was saying that she kind of understood some of the prejudices. You know, because she was help raising this child. And I kid you not, dude, Whoopi stands up, she slams her hands down on the table and tells her, no, you don't know what racism is. And Rosie O'Donnell, which I also dislike, I dislike them both. Okay.
Just so we're clear, none of us like any of them.
Rosie O'Donnell goes, why? She goes, why do you, why do I not understand racism? And Whoopi said, these are her words, okay? She said, because you're not black. I almost threw the fucking remote at the TV, dude. I'm like, let's talk about something, okay? I just really quickly want to go over the fucking Holocaust with you. Where An entire race of people was literally almost disappeared from the planet, or at least they were trying to. I mean that's I don't know. And Jews are white. Some of them.
I love how you added that last bit of uncertainty.
I gotta look it up now. Google, help me. Oh, this is great. Oh shit, bro, I was wrong. They're slightly browner. No, and you know what sucks, dude, about this whole racial thing is that I come from a part of the country in the U.S. where, like, everything is very southern, okay? And there's a stereotype here about, like, everybody talks like this, you know, we carry a shotgun and a banjo and we walk around with our overalls pulled up to our belly buttons, you know?
Right, that's how you talk all the time.
I'm
just putting your posh voice on.
You know, I was going to ask you when you said you moved to South Africa and they were basically being racist against you. I was like, is that what made you stop using your top hat and monocle?
My last cup of tea.
8-year-old Steve shamefully taking off this top hat and monocle. Shyly hiding it behind his back.
Stashing my cane under my bed. Away.
No, is that a stereotype, or are there a lot of, like, really classy British people over there?
No, dude.
I legitimately want to know. Like, are you all classy as fuck? Because if I come,
I don't want to. But I think the British people could be some of the least classy people.
Yeah, that's the truth. That is the truth.
you know, I guess.
Come on,
you've played
you
online
guys
video games. You know how foul my mouth is, and some of the things that I say, man. And I.
Hey, you can be foul mouthed and be classy. You can be a sailor gentleman. Gentleman sailor.
Gentleman sailor.
What the fuck is that? Oh.
No, accents do make a difference because, for example, Steve, when you drop a good solid fuck, it comes out so much better than when Ray or I do it. There's just a.
Hey, shut up, bro! I've been cussing my whole life. I've been practicing this shit. Don't diss me now.
Yeah, and you sound a bit like a redneck, so shush.
Ow, fuck!
I'll send you some of that.
Hold on.
I'm sending it to everyone tonight.
Some bitch.
Perfect. Absolutely perfect.
Oh man, this has devolved into something I didn't think it was going to devolve into.
What were we talking about?
Yeah. The Overwatch Pro guy.
So, our devolving conversation confirmed better than Overwatch.
What basically do you think that was right? Do you think? I mean, let's bear in mind, right? Let's just bear in mind that he's a very prominent Overwatch Pro player that would have been getting a few thousand views on his stream more than likely at that point. And he's also when you're playing pro, don't forget esports is trying very, very hard to be taken seriously as an actual sport.
Okay.
And we all know that any form of racist gesture, be it mistaken or otherwise, in any sport is dealt with very harshly. They do not like that in sports. Hence why it says here, it's the Anti-Defamation League, no place for hate campaign. Now,
all right.
You've got to ask yourself if maybe the odd lapsus linguae, the odd slip of the tongue from a small-time streamer or from someone that's just, that's funny, or just maybe that's okay. Maybe that's not a bad thing.
Is it right?
In his position should have known better than to do that, than to sit there with a face cam and pull his eyes to the side to make them look Asian. Maybe he should have known better than that.
Is it right? No, it's not right. But is it a big deal? No, it's not. That's my final stand.
Well, this is where it comes down to personal opinion, because in my personal opinion, I don't think it was a thing at all. I think if an Asian if an Asian guy or girl sat there and pushed their eyes inwards to make them seem more rounder and affected a very bad English accent and spoke for a few minutes and said some stereotypical English things, I genuinely wouldn't be offended. I'd probably laugh until a small nugget of poo came out. That's no joke, though. I would laugh my ass off if I saw that. I genuinely would. I laugh my ass off any time someone.
Yeah, but see,
British accent.
It's tab. Okay,
It's
well,
offensive.
let's not say that it's right or wrong. Okay, it's taboo, is what it is. It's taboo.
Well, yeah,
but I don't
the
think
problem
it's a
is
big
position.
deal. It's not a big deal. It's not a big
No,
whether you have a
no.
big position or not. Listen, okay, if you're doing what you love and you can't be yourself, then that's fucked, bro.
Yeah.
I mean, if I was a big time YouTuber, okay, and I couldn't act like who I was, so I'm making jokes and I slip up and I accidentally say a word that's offensive to a few million people. It's not a big deal. It shouldn't be a big deal.
Let me tell you where the problem is, right? It's a very fine line between something intended as humour and something intended as actually derogatory. So I think that racial slurs intended to demonise that are meant negatively, that are meant to insult or deride or offend. then yes, that is bad.
Spoken
But
with
if-
hate. Yeah,
But
spoken with
something
hate.
spoken
Yeah.
just with genuine laughter or something spoken.
When you take a stereotype, when you take a stereotype and you turn it into a joke, that's okay. Because stereotypes are ridiculous anyway.
Yeah.
So you're taking something and you're turning it into a joke, that's fine. When people get upset because you're making a joke about a stereotype, they're just reinforcing that they don't want that stereotype made fun of.
Right. But
Yeah. That's Ray's word of the day, motherfuckers. Yeah.
calm down, OG. Calm down, OG.
Ray's channel has now been removed from YouTube.
Mom, OG needs his pills again. He's getting all feisty. Mom, he says he needs to shave me a mullet. Hurry up.
You know what? Look, like, I agree that, it wasn't, let's say, right. There's definitely, any sort of, like you say, any sort of stereotype is bullshit. But I think the measures taken are too drastic.
Too
I
extreme.
personally, yeah, like all it really should have been is maybe him just doing a public thing saying, "Sorry, I wasn't thinking at the time. It won't happen again." That's all that needed to come of this. But they've blown it way out of proportion.
What they're doing is they're setting they're setting a precedent.
Well, no, what they're not doing is they're not telling you the context, and I can't tell the context of it from there. I haven't been and watched the live stream.
That was going to be my
thing.
question.
Was he being insulting? On the picture, he's smiling whilst he's doing it. So it looks to me like he's just joking. Like there's no insult, no harm intended from it. It's just a joke.
Now, for example, if he was angry doing it in rage, then that could be read as racism. Then it is racism.
Yeah.
No two ways about it. But if it's as a laughing, joking sort of thing, then, I mean, heck, if basically every comedian we enjoy and watch does racist humor.
Or at least uses race as a topic to start.
Exactly.
Definitely.
Yeah, no, for real. Like, let me just emphasize what Chris says. Every fucking comedian I've ever seen has pointed out, has used race as a topic. Race or gender, for that matter. In fact, one of my favorite comedians, what's his name? Fluffy, Gabriel Iglesias.
Oh, yeah.
Almost every one of his comedy, he talks about gestures that different races use.
Right.
It's part of his comedy act.
And that's called observational humour. But now what I'm saying to you is there's a point that's arrived where somebody's gone, like, observational humour doesn't count anymore. Like, or it's only observational humour if you stood on stage doing it. if you're in just a normal person in normal life, you can't use stereotypes as observational. Like you can't count that as observational humor. You're being racist. So if you refer to any single thing that any race does different to any other race, you're being a racist. Whether that's something that's funny or something that's not funny, it doesn't matter. If you make any kind of social commentary about another race, that makes you a racist. And that I don't agree with that. I don't agree with it. I have to go stand on stage to make a joke about someone. I don't care what race you are, man. We all do hilarious things, and we all say incredibly stupid things, and we all do things that are kooky and weird. All of us do.
Yeah, I mean, I'm a
a
hairy fat guy from America. Go on, give me your best fucking joke.
Hey, I scratch my bum and I stiff my hand.
But
Ew! Nasty fucker!
Like there's an expiry date on these things as well, though. Like
Yeah,
the old burger eating American joke. That's so 2002.
I love how you know the exact year, though.
It's true though, isn't it? It's true because Americans are all like, you guys are quite healthy eating now.
Dude, so
It's picked
just quickly,
up anyway.
just quickly, do you know what the South African stereotype for an American is?
Go on.
You just open your mouth as big as you can and like, look, big teeth.
Wait, you know what's funny about that?
Teeth, haven't they?
You know what's funny about that is that that's our stereotype for British people.
What? You open them and they're awful.
No, just big teeth.
Oh,
No,
right.
just-
I'm sorry, Steve. Didn't mean to offend you there, bud.
No, it's not. That's because you've.
No,
seen
that was
guy
I was being
in,
sorry. I was being sarcastic. I was being,
No,
I'm
no,
being
you're right. Which guy you on
sarcastic.
about? The guy. What's he from? Is he from Family Guy?
Yeah.
He's just got the crazy huge bottom jaw. And the kind of thing that he said. Yes, that's how we all talk. I'm actually making a conscious effort to talk clearly to you and enunciate well so you can understand me. As soon as the podcast is finished, that's how I talk to my wife.
Steve, I love you for reasons.
Do you?
Reasons. There's
None of them
reasons.
have got to do with that birthmark on my ass cheek.
Well, you know, that does add a little spice.
The spice.
I thought it was on your inner thigh, but you know, I was really drunk that night.
Yeah, the maneuvers were pretty wild. My inside thigh could have been my ass cheek at any point.
I think Chris has lost it.
Anyway, well, I think for his position, maybe it was a bit too harsh. Maybe it was quite a lot. They threw the book at him.
Well, like
but
I said,
think-
they're making a precedent, dude. They're setting a
Yeah.
standard for what they're gonna do in the future.
But I do think maybe in the position that he's in such a prominent position, he's being treated the same. They want to be, the esports want to be taken seriously as an actual sport by other sports. So therefore, players or pros or athletes in this sport need to be treated the same. And you can bet your bottom dollar that if a top, let's say for example, let's take international football. If Ronaldo was playing against, say, Japan, and at any point during the match, the camera looked at him and he was pulling his eyes to the side and smiling and making that gesture, he'd be paying out of the nose, and you know it. That they wouldn't
Yeah,
get
it's
away
true,
with that.
but it's
So
it's
maybe
that
what-
this
what I'm
goes
saying to
back.
you no, what I'm saying to you is that's what's happening here. It is esports want to be treated like a serious sport, so they are being, and this guy's being punished. Like
Yeah,
a
but
serious athlete.
this goes back to the whole political correctness thing that I feel like our society is enveloped into, man. Our society is completely like balled up into this politically correct society because we're afraid that somebody's gonna lash out or some group's gonna get involved, and I feel like that's not healthy. Yeah. By the way, let me just throw this in there. Do you think it's fair to call and somebody who plays video games an athlete? I'm fine with them calling esports. That's fine. But is it?
I think yes. I think some of the players that play some games, I think they are athletes. I think what it takes, what it takes to play some games at pro levels does require athletic amounts of like reaction times, the problem solving, logic, thinking, aim, everything, dude, everything.
That's a good point. That's a good point.
Learning, but think about the study that they go in, learning maps and learning stuff, learning all that kind of stuff. Let's be honest though, it's not just like, I'm not just talking about CS:GO. I mean, there's other pro games as well, like Dota and League of Legends and stuff like that.
Yeah, and just I guess the amount of time that they have to dedicate to it. Yeah, I understand.
No, it's the physical side of it.
Yeah, I know. That's what I'm saying.
Go through, it's crazy, man. I think it's definitely worth that time for you.
I was going for a joke, but you just fucking pounded me into the ground there, bud.
I'm sorry, dude. I do firmly agree. I
will say though, it looks absolutely hilarious to me when you see the pictures of them all sort of lined up and looking serious in their sort of squad gear. Basically, what I compare it to is whenever there's like a Rugby World Cup and you see all like the big rugby oaks. Standing in line, looking all serious. That's what they're going for. Yeah. But it's all these scrawny little nerds.
Yeah.
Dude, I will never play rugby. That looks like it hurts.
I know you pussies with all your fucking armor and your American football, you bunch of.
Hey, I won't play football either. I mean, I'm literally pussed out down to the level of like I'll play.
So this was me entering high school. There were tryouts for rugby. I went and I did it. So I went to the first tryouts. Someone passed me the ball. I ran with it, and then I got knocked to the ground. I then proceeded to stand up and say, "This is not fun," and walk off.
I'll play soccer with shin pads.
I didn't want to play. I didn't want to do rugby at school, and then when it come time to rugby, I found out it was actually all right. I think because I could run quite fast, quite far.
And you're quite tall. I mean, I'm pretty sure you need to just fall over and you can get
I just jump over you, dude. I just jump over you, or like if not, like I just smash into you because obviously I was in the top 3 tallest people in my class.
No, well that's what I'm saying. You're 9'2". You just need to fall over and you're halfway across the field.
Yeah.
Hey, but don't count. That's not fair because you're counting his afro.
Yeah, man. And 2 strides.
He's like, he's 9'2". All right, cut his hair. All right, he's done back to 6 foot. We'll call you Wilbur and move in.
Can you, as a mode of transportation, all you really do is just sort of tuck yourself into this big front. Just roll around everywhere.
No, dude, it's like a clown car. Like he carries all of his fucking friends in there. You show up somewhere. Where is everybody? Oh, hold on. But he starts climbing out of the fro.
He gets really into a dance in the club, starts whipping his head around. People just get dragged and absorbed into his head.
We ditch this place.
Oh, just as an aside on my screen there, to say, well, that was one of your confirmed kills on PUBG from yesterday. Just that. Wink, wink.
Thanks, bruh. I did so good yesterday. I was like...
He had a good game on PUBG yesterday. I was so proud of him, Chris. He was lit, bro.
I don't believe this is Ray we're talking about.
No, it was spot on, dude. Absolutely spot on. It was cracking.
Chris makes me sad. He's gotten into this new habit of making fun of me.
Is it?
Yeah.
And not buying PUBG still.
Yeah, he won't buy PUBG. Hey, you know what we did do though? Hey.
Shush. So, Steve, before you hurt me, this is Ray's idea, not mine. This is Ray's idea. Ray, you may not talk.
No. I did get him because it's free. Okay, because it's free. I managed to get him to download Fortnite. I'm gonna get him to try Fortnite, and then. If he likes Fortnite,
please don't hurt me. Please don't
we're gonna.
Okay, I was playing Fortnite for the last 2 days as well because my son got on it. I downloaded it again and I played it for the last 2 days. No. Just don't get excited because I just uninstalled it.
Slapping my mark, trying to slap you.
Chris, he's like, don't get excited. I just uninstalled it.
I just uninstalled it, dude. It's just shotguns and shields. You'll understand.
No, I understand, but it's in the now. So me and Chris are gonna play it, and I am going to record his reactions. That's what's
going
gonna
to
happen.
is he's going to play it and he's going to really, really hate it. He's going to really hate it, right? And then what is going to all that's going to do is cement him saying, I'm definitely not playing this.
But it looks like Overwatch.
It kind of does.
It has that cartoony thing that Chris likes.
It kind of does, yeah. It kind of does. Just all you got to do, Chris, right?
Ass
Is
physics.
It'll fancy his fetish.
PUBG's not like Fortnite. Okay? It's not like Fortnite.
Well, I've never played it, so I wouldn't know.
It's
It's very tactical. PUBG is extremely tactical. Like, you got to be in constant contact and then like call out where people are and
that's what I'm saying. And we're at that level now. We're knitting, dude. We're getting there, you know. Like I'm saying, you did well. It's not just a case of reporting yourself. You've got to be able to listen and listen to what's being said to you and interpret what's being said to you, put it to use. And that's what you've started to do. So when I went down, when I was knocked out on my knees and I said to you, no, I told you where he was, I saw you come out the door and you looked exactly where I told you he was. You weren't like that before. You'd be like, no, I'm going to go over here, and you'd go and sit in the corner and wait. And then the two guys would run in and they'd both catch you at the same time. You're like, oh, there was nothing I could do. Well, don't do that.
It's
Don't
not
go
my...
sit in the corner. Go on the offensive, because at least you go down doing something.
It's not my fault. I'm scared, Steve.
But that's what I mean. You've got to get over it. It's only a game.
No, it's not, bro. Not when I'm in the game. You don't understand.
Yeah, I know, I do. Of course I do.
It's like being in the Matrix and getting shot. Suddenly you wake up and you're like, ah.
You have to do something though. That's the thing. If you stand there, you're not learning anything. You've got to go and do something, because then what happens is you enter a situation and it's a 50-50. You win or you lose. If you lose, you get to think back and you go, right.
No,
yeah,
with me it's like a 90-20.
I could have done that better. I could have, right, but not now. Not after the other day, dude. You've gone up a level easy.
I'm just gonna point out Ray said 90-20.
Yeah, it's like a 90-20.
I was trying to ignore his poor mouth, to be honest with you.
Why are you guys so mean? Like ever since I watched this, ever since I watched it, hey, up, my voice has gone up. Okay, why are you guys so mean? No, like ever since ever since I watched that zombie video of Chris's that came out last week, like you guys, no, it was the Vermintide video. That's what it was. You guys were making fun of me behind my back.
Never. Never.
I must be the stupid one.
Darling, Ray, darling, you are an absolute attention whore. And over the 3 years we have been with you, we have learned to ignore it or get consumed by it.
Yep, that's it.
Yeah, but you guys are ignoring it too much.
No.
Exactly.
Become consumed. Become consumed. Meld into my body. No. I will acknowledge. You know what? In all seriousness, though, I will acknowledge that I am an attention whore. Bad. I have a habit of being loud and eccentric.
I like giving you that attention. I'm fine with that.
That's okay. Shall we revisit the birthmark sometime?
Yeah, man.
There was no hesitation. Just yeah, man. Yeah, sure.
No worries.
I'm just gonna acknowledge that Steve likes them needy, so he can keep optimal control over them.
That's right. I think on that almost personal note, to the next subject, shall we? The very last topic that I've got to hit up here. Okay?
I've got about 10-15 minutes, guys. So
let's hit up the GP price drop. Now, I've got some reading for you. Are you ready? Okay, let's begin. After a long and arduous period of extreme
Read it like the
shortage, like the French.
Oh.
After a long and arduous period of extreme shortage in the graphics card market, affecting both AMD and Nvidia, it appears that supply is finally beginning to normalize. During March alone, prices came down by as much as a third.
I can't deal with it!
So good.
We get get it, Steve. You surrender.
On high-end graphics cards such as NVIDIA GTX 1080 Ti and
You've gone German, bro.
RX Vega 64. Mid-range graphics cards also saw a price drop. In fact, nearly every
He's a
single
double agent.
mid-range to high-end graphics card on Amazon. I can't. I'm done. Had declined in price by anywhere between 15 to 30%, with an average price drop of around 25. Example: the 1080 Ti was $1,410 on March the 11th, and by the day of my birthday, April the 3rd, they were down to $919.
Just for you, bro.
Supply levels have also seemingly gotten healthier. AMD Radeon RX 500 and Vega graphics cards, as well as GTX 10 series graphics cards, are available in stock more frequently at both Amazon and Newegg than they have been in the past several months. Now, this is the complicated bit that I know nothing about. This is where I'm reading and hoping either of you guys may know something about this. The improvement in supply seems to partially stem from news of the imminent release of the first ever ASIC miner for Ethereum, which would render mining Ethereum on GPUs almost entirely obsolete. And that's important because Ethereum is the most popular cryptocurrency among GPU miners. So basically what they're saying is somebody's invented a different kind of miner for Ethereum, which means all the Ethereum miners that have been buying all the GPUs won't buy GPUs anymore, they'll go buy this dedicated miner. Which
sweet.
gives us all the GPUs back.
Sweet, bro. I'm looking forward to updating
Now-
my graphics card someday.
I have a problem with this.
Okay.
Like what? Things are getting cheaper and here's a problem with it? Yes. The issue is, here in South Africa, we import all our components, meaning I will not see that price drop until the next generation of cards come out.
Yeah, it's going to be I mean, we may not see it straight away as well, to be honest with you. It's going to take a little bit for things to level out again.
Just for an example, how much does the 6 gig 1060 more or less cost in your areas?
For me, a 6 gig 1060 is 300 odd pounds.
About 500, 600.
So most of them here, when we convert to dollars, yeah, it's $700 and up. Now that's obviously all your import duties. But the thing is, as these things start to take effect, and you guys will see the prices start to drop, it's gonna stay up there for me.
No, you'll see it. You'll see it drop. It just won't. It
No,
just won't drop as much.
Because now the issue is all our component suppliers, they've gone and brought in all these cards costing X amount, so they're going to be damn sure to sell it at that amount.
It's a shrewd place. You're not wrong. I understand your concerns, but you have to understand as well. It's the march of progress, my dude. I think things are going to pick up for you with regards to supply. I honestly think I don't think they can go a whole lot longer, because it like you guys have got the desire, that the demand is there. They've just got to fulfill supply, and that's not hard. Well, it has been hard. Nobody's had the supply of GPUs anywhere in the world, because the miners have brought them up everywhere. So that obviously, with you being at the lower end of the supply chain anyway, that would have affected you worst, and it will take the longest for you to see those improvements. You're not wrong, definitely, but it will get better, and it might just be as well that when it does get better, it's going to be incredibly good for you. I mean, if they come down now, let's just put it this way: if this dedicated miner is doing what it says it does and takes the pressure off the GPU market, dude, think how many GPUs are going to come onto the market soon. Like, even if there's depending on how many hours it's done. If you buy a second-hand GPU, the first thing you want to ask is how many hours has it been used for, And if it hasn't been used for long, dude, I'll buy a second-hand GPU because that's what I've got now. Well,
I like you, Dad. You make me feel good.
think about how many second-hand GPUs are going to be coming on the market soon, dude. I saw a picture from Jay-Z 2 Cents. I don't know if you know who that guy is. He's a PC guy on YouTube. And he tweeted saying that it has seen a picture of 1,500 GPUs being bought in one sitting. And he was saying that's the problem with the industry. This is what's going on here. And then Science Studio did a response video saying like blah, blah, and I just thought Science Studio's got that wrong. That is exactly what's wrong with it. If you think that selling 1,500 GPUs on one ticket to one person or company is not a bad thing, then you need to go and get some professional help. Yeah. Obviously, that's a bad thing.
Because yeah, I mean, and this is common knowledge at this point. But when you take something that's you can really just consider graphics cards to be luxury items. When you take something that's a luxury item and now have to make it commonplace, that's where the issues come in.
Yeah.
It's like, for example, just now going and there's a gold rush and now suddenly everyone's buying chunks of gold. Like buying it to the same equivalent of, let's say, concrete. Because that's basically what's happening. What's been happening. But yeah, you know what? I will be hopeful because I mean, for me personally, like I think I've maxed out my like basically I'm running a really strong 2013 build here, like a really high-end 2013 PC. And yeah, I can see myself in the next year having to upgrade the whole thing anyways.
Well, it was upsetting for me because, and this is going to sound conceited maybe also, but the problem with having a graphics card like a 980 is where do you go from there? Well, yeah. I mean, because the 980 is like you can pick up a 980 for decent money now, and it crushes most games. The only way up from there is a 1080 or a 1070.
Yeah.
I mean, but then you go and look at the price of a 1070, and it was just too much, way too much.
Definitely. Too much. So now you're in the awkward position where you need to now either A, fork out a hell of a lot of money for a new card, or B, sit and wait till your card gets terrible.
Either that or step across to a 1060 6 gig. But even they were like I say £300
but also now you need to be conscious about your performance jump as well.
Yeah.
Because if it's too small, you don't want to fork out £500, you know, for 10%. For 10% improvement. You want that huge margin.
Yeah.
I mean, like for me, it's feasible at the moment because I'm still only the big thing right now is VRAM because that's your textures. That's where games are moving.
But that's what's stopping me. I've only got 4 gig. So this is the thing. If I moved sideways to a 1060 6 gig, I'm still gaining 2 gigabytes of RAM. I'm just losing a bit on clock speeds. Performance is exactly the same.
Fair enough. No, but I'm saying the issue where you're having is, whereas for you, it's 4 gigs is still sufficient for most games today. You're gonna run into an issue a year from now.
Yeah.
For me, I'm still running 2 gigs of VRAM. So things are starting to get a bit dicey.
Yeah.
I think if I had to try and run Final Fantasy 15, that's where I'd start to have issue.
Yeah, just go back and watch your very first Far Cry video you ever made.
Oh.
Far Cry 5 gives my system a bit of a tickle.
Not for me, dude.
I managed to lock it at 60 on like all high settings.
Made in America, you do it.
Yeah, it loves you. Every time you start the game up, a bald eagle flies over and starts doing.
Hello, fellow American, playing this American game in America.
Yeah. I get like an electric guitar background, like like you see the eagle fly over the back of my head.
It lands on your roof and shits out a giant like American flag that just rolls out smooth over your roof. That's what happens.
That's glorious.
It is, yes.
But on the topic of Far Cry, I've actually seen a very interesting video where they compare Far Cry 2 to Far Cry 5. But the stuff they compare is actually more engine based than graphically based.
And it's pretty bad. It's a pretty. Far Cry 2 was a badass game. I don't know if you guys remember.
Now I'll actually no, I don't have the link right now. I'll drop it later, just for your sort of perusal. But basically, what they do is they show how you could actually do a lot more with the environments in Far Cry 2 than you can do with Far Cry 5, because all the modern games now, I don't know if you know too much about the way games are made, but it's all baked textures.
Yeah.
So it makes sense to have lower res polygons with higher res textures.
Yeah.
So lower poly models with higher textures. And it's the little stuff how in like Far Cry 5, if you drive through a bush, you're driving through the bush. And it compares to Far Cry 2, where when you drove over a bush, you actually saw the bush bend under the car and then flop back up the other side.
Oh gosh.
Far Cry 2, when you drove in grass, you left an actual trail of the grass you'd ridden over.
Bruh.
Whereas Far Cry 5, you don't.
Bruh, you're ruining Far Cry 5 for me. Can you stop?
Yeah, but you can fix all that for you. You can go fishing in Far Cry 5. You can't in Far Cry 2.
Oh yeah.
You know what I mean, bro?
You
But
can go fishing for drug lords.
Steve, buddy, in Far Cry 2, a lot of the antags, the antag mercenaries, they speak Afrikaans.
I'm gonna have to reinstall that game, bro.
Yeah. Dude, just to hear people
Oh, yeah.
shouting Afrikaans insults at you.
Wow, you're Blexen.
But anyways, ladies and gents, I have run out of time. Yes. I say ladies and gents because I'm talking to the audience, but you know.
And I see that watch count going up as we're leaving. I see you there.
I see you there.
I see you late lurkers.
That's okay. You guys can go back and watch the whole thing. It'll be pretty much uploaded to my channel, I think. If I've done this right, please be right. Okay. Yeah.
Switch
Well,
automatically archives mine, bitch.
Yeah, mine does too. But I just, you know, I like making everything over dramatic. You know, it's Ray. Come on.
I'm up to heady 6 viewers, but nobody said anything. So, but anyway, I've
Hey.
been hosted by 2 of my Twitch friends, which is really nice.
That's awesome, dude.
That's really
And
nice.
a special thank you to those people because you guys are the best.
Signal
And does-
and Mr. Streaming. So thank you very much. For you.
Thanks, guys.
Appreciate that.
Yeah.
Yeah. And to anyone lurking, you know, it's an open debate, you know? If you have interesting views on any of this stuff, let us know.
Yeah, we won't get offended. Unless you call me fat. Then fuck you. No, I'm kidding.
Hey, you've lost 7 pounds.
Actually, I've lost 40.
40.
Yes, but the 7 was just with this new thing.
And suddenly everyone listening's like, good God, how big were you?
No. You know what? I'm gonna put myself out there. I was 336 pounds.
That's not that big.
No, not for somebody who's 6'3", but I mean, still, I was starting to have. Okay, so what happened is I went to the doctor, right, and or actually I went to donate blood, and they would not let me in. They said that my blood pressure was too high, so I went to the doctor and I found out that I was pre-diabetic, and basically I had to change my eating habits.
You have a choice there, don't you?
So I started changing the way I eat, and I started doing exercise. Chris has actually been a excellent motivator. If you need anybody to motivate you to keep working out.
Good job, Chris. Good job.
And yeah, that's my story. So I don't want to die, so I started eating better and losing weight.
Are you feeling good?
Yeah. So 336 was my max, and I'm down to 295.
What's your goal?
260.
250?
260, 250, somewhere in there. That's what I was in high school, and I looked good. I looked good, brah. I should send you pictures. But anyways, does anybody have any final points or final things you guys want to?
I'd like to add, one thing I'd like to add is what an absolute utter pleasure this is always. I was talking to somebody the other day I think, in fact, it was Sigma Inc. who was hosting me. We were talking about friends and stuff, and I was telling her about this podcast that we do. And I was saying the two guys that I do it with are like my two best friends.
Yeah, bro.
I can rely on these two to, if I have an opinion about something, we have a debate about something, I can guarantee that whatever I hear, whether I like it or not, is always coming from a source that has some reputation and that would have done some research. It's not just recycled bullshit that I get told. It's people. The reason why I like them so much is because the things that we talk about, the opinions that I have, are founded in experience or research or genuine knowledge.
Yeah, and we're
not
all.
only that, but you guys are also two stand-up fellas, and you're two genuine guys. And I've known you for quite some time, and every minute that I get to spend with you, I cherish wholeheartedly. And
Thanks,
I'd like to extend that sentiment again, because I genuinely do appreciate every minute I get to spend with you guys, and you really do mean a lot to me.
Yeah, man, it's appreciated, and it goes right back out, because I mean,
Yeah.
look, above all else, I mean, we do this because, you know, it's really, really fun, and we really, really enjoy hanging out together. I mean, the whole reason this whole thing started was because how many times we used to just get lost chatting and not actually playing a game over Skype or Discord, and then we said, God.
Yeah, we have these.
recorded this.
We have these debates all the time, guys. We just never put them in the fucking live stream, and then we were like, "Hey, you know what? We should live stream this." No, but you know what?
The sentiment's right back.
Yeah, for real, Steve. It's, I mean, yeah.
I got it right in the fields.
Right in the fields, bro. Yeah, but right back at you, bro.
You made him stop. How? Teach me.
Love.
But yeah,
Love
it didn't shut me up. It shorted me out.
Sure.
But yeah, totally. And it's been a pleasure. And I love you guys, but I gotta bounce. So
You can't see it or hear it, but I am submitting.
Yeah, without further ado, if you guys have no more final points you'd like to make.
No, none at all. No, take it easy, my dude. I hope everything goes well for you. And the same goes for you, Chris. I hope everything goes well for you, dude. And we'll catch up again soon.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, if you want to see more of our stuff, make sure to stop by our individual channels and Mr. Ixolite's Twitch channel as well, because he streams often. And thanks everybody who stopped by. It's great. And if you want to see more of this, make sure to stop by next month, because we would do one of these every month, right, guys?
Yep, for sure.
Definitely. And be sure to check out the website, onehitpowerup.com. Yeah.
All right.
That's our little website. Bunch of really cool shit that you check out. It's a really good way to interact with us. I'm rambling now. Back to you, Raymundo Selvo.
All right, guys. We love you guys. Thanks for stopping by, ladies and gents, and we will see you next time. Peace.